Takumi woke up one morning to find himself tied up in bed. The culprit? None other than Maple, his loyal but mischievous spider companion. Maple apologized, explaining that she felt neglected. Takumi had been so busy with work that she was feeling lonely and just wanted his attention. Realizing he'd been too focused on his tasks, Takumi decided to take the day off to spend time with Maple. Her excitement was infectious, but just as their playtime began, Martha entered the room, carrying lunch. She paused, seeing the odd scene of Takumi tied up by Maple. Despite his flustered assurances that it wasn't what it looked like, Martha couldn't help but notice the high-quality silk Maple had produced. An idea struck her: she could make garments from Maple's silk. Martha went to work and soon created a beautiful spider silk shirt. The village women were enchanted by its luxurious texture, something usually reserved for nobles. Seeing their enthusiasm, Martha asked Maple to produce more silk. Maple reluctantly agreed, but the process would keep her busy for a while, leaving Takumi disappointed as he'd planned to spend the day with her. Despite this, Takumi had work to do and decided to use his time productively. It had been about a month since Takumi arrived in the village. Though he had grown attached to its people, it was time to expand his skills and business. His goal was to study alchemy in the nearby city of Bolton. Preparing for this transition, Takumi visited Boron at the forge to hone his blacksmithing skills. Together, they crafted a durable chest plate and steel-toed boots. Boron noted that the boots would be useful for self-defense, but Takumi reiterated his desire to avoid combat. Their conversation was interrupted by Bunga, who had arranged for Takumi to travel with a trader heading to Bolton in a few days. Although saddened by Takumi's departure, the villagers supported his decision, knowing it was the logical step for his growth. As Takumi walked home to pack, he encountered Martha carrying a bucket of discarded horned rabbit innards. She explained that while the meat was delicious, it required thorough processing to remove diseases, and their village lacked the proper equipment. Hearing this, Takumi offered to purify the meat using light magic. With a single spell, he made the contents of the bucket safe to eat. Martha was astonished, not only by his ability to use light magic but by the implications it carried. She warned Takumi to keep this power a secret when he left the village, as light magic was rare and could draw unwanted attention. He promised to be cautious. Before leaving, Takumi wanted to give back to the village. Using earth magic, he built a sturdy brick wall for protection and even constructed a water pump to make daily life easier. By the time he was done, the village looked transformed, almost unrecognizable. When the trader Paypek arrived, he marveled at the changes. After completing his trade deals, Paypek introduced himself to Takumi and ensured everything was ready for the journey. Before departing, Takumi handed Bunga a potion, explaining he'd left a stockpile of these healing elixirs for emergencies. Paypek, astonished by the potion's high quality, asked to inspect it. Recognizing it as a rare, high-level concoction, he expressed interest in purchasing more. The villagers gathered to bid Takumi farewell. Molly tearfully said goodbye to Maple, who was snugly resting in Takumi's bag. Martha presented him with a custom outfit made from maple silk, a thoughtful gift that deeply moved him. With heartfelt goodbyes and promises of return, Takumi boarded the carriage. As they left, Paypek commented on how loved Takumi was by the villagers, likening him to family. Even Paypek's hired guards, the C-rank adventurer group Lion Fong, were intrigued by Takumi. The group consisted of the cheerful Heath, the fiery Riel, and the stoic Boger. As they traveled, Riel noticed Takumi clutching his bag protectively and asked what was inside. When Takumi revealed it was his tamed spider, Maple, Riel eagerly asked to see her. However, Maple, unimpressed by Riel's overly curious demeanor, headbutted him in the face, earning laughs from the group. During the journey, a horde of goblins ambushed the carriage. While Takumi and Paypek stayed back, Lion Fong sprang into action, efficiently dispatching the goblins. Maple, watching from the sidelines, seemed to develop a liking for Boger, ignoring Riel altogether. Afterward, the group harvested magic stones from the goblins, before resuming their trip. Over the next 3 days, the group bonded as they made their way to Bolton. Upon arriving in Bolton, Lion Fong headed to the Adventurers Guild to report the success of their mission. Takumi accompanied them to register as an adventurer since the city lacked an Alchemist's Guild. Although reluctant, Takumi registered with the guild, presenting Maple as his pet, and received his identification card. Paypack then invited Takumi to his trading company to discuss a deal for the potions. Paypack offered a substantial price for Takumi's potions, totaling an amount that left Takumi stunned. Paypack advised Takumi to invest in a workshop-equipped property to support his production. He even arranged for his assistant, Thomas, to show Takumi some options. When they arrived, the property turned out to be a mansion with an attached workshop. Though initially hesitant, Takumi realized the mansion would be ideal for his work and agreed to purchase it. As Takumi explored the city, he noticed a foul stench in the air. Paypack explained that the city's sewers were poorly maintained, lacking the magical purifiers that wealthier areas enjoyed. Determined to help, Takumi used his magic to craft a modern toilet system connected to purification devices. The next day, when Paypack visited Takumi's new home, he was astonished by the innovation and insisted on purchasing hundreds of the toilets. Takumi hesitated, as the process was labor-intensive. Paypack suggested hiring a slave bound by secrecy to assist with production, but Takumi, strongly opposed to slavery, declined. As Takumi contemplated his next steps, his guild card suddenly activated, notifying him of a mandatory verification quest. Realizing he might not have the time to complete the project alone, Takumi reluctantly reconsidered Paypack's advice, knowing he had to protect his secrets while meeting his commitments. With a new challenge ahead, Takumi braced himself for the next chapter of his journey in this bustling city.